Okay, so here's an alternative method to the loft. So we're gonna construct this actually using two different sweeps, one for the outside curve, one for the inside curve. I'm gonna put this on recording that this is not my invention. This is one of the students in class, Jesse, who suggested this, and it actually works really well as an alternative to the sweep. I'm sorry, to the loft. So we're gonna actually do two sweeps, one for the top end, one for the bottom end, and we're gonna take the individual trajectories that we have already done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move mine down here. We do it with two different sweeps, but I'm going to delete the sweep out of here for this one. Okay. And then for the other one, just to get back to my original. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to create the two trajectories just as we did before. So we've got the outside, same dimensions and everything, and we have the inside, same dimensions. Okay. But now what we're going to do is we're going to create, now a sweep is different than a loft in that you can only have one profile and one guide curve, okay? A loft, you can have multiple different cross sections that then blend into each other, and you can have multiple guide curves. And that really is the application that we were using here. It is a good application for that, but for some reason, it's just a challenging, tough, finicky command. But it seems like the sweep, doing two sweeps, one for this end on the outside curve and one for this end on the inside curve, actually goes a lot faster. So to demonstrate that, I've got my two guide curves, so far my trajectory curves in and out. Now I'm going to draw my sketch, and I'm going to start at the outside portion here. So I'm simply going to sketch on my top plane. And I'm just going to draw the top portion here. So I'm going to start with my center line. I like using that dynamic mirror. Okay. So I'm going to do my tools, sketch tools, dynamic mirror. I'm going to pick that center line. And now I'm going to start drawing that profile. So I'm going to start like in here. So I'm not drawing that full section. I'm just going to start right about here-ish. And I'm just going to draw the top portion of that T. So I'm not doing the bottom portion. We're going to do this in two different sweeps. So I'm just doing the top here. So I'm going to deactivate my dynamic mirror. And then I am going to convert this outside radius in, and I'm going to trim that away. And then I'm going to smart dimension the elements that I have here. So this is 0.3125. This width right here is 0.5625. And then from the very top to kind of our shelf here, this is 0.375. Okay. Now it's not fully defined because the only dimension I need is how long this is. So this little blue guy here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a smart dimension from my center of my hole to the end of that. And I'm going to keep it at about 5.1, just a random dimension. Okay. So I'm going to say, okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to sweep it along this one profile, sweep it along that outside curve. Okay. So I'm going to go to my features tab. I'm going to go swept boss base. My sketch is already selected from before, but if you need to, you can just click down here and select your sketch that you just did. And then your guide curve is going to be that outside trajectory. So there is the outside. Okay. I'm going to hit OK. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the inside portion. And what's going to happen is these are going to overlap one another and merge that inside material together. So now I'm going to do another sketch down on that top profile. Oops, did I not do that right? Hold on. Sketch down here. There we go. And now I'm going to do that same process, but for the bottom. So I'm going to put my center line back in because, again, I like using that dynamic mirror command. Tools, sketch tools, dynamic mirror, click on this. And then now I'm going to do my line command, and I'm going to start it like right about here. And we're going to do that bottom T portion. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of extend it out into here. And then I'm going to deactivate my dynamic mirror. And then I'm going to close the end here. Okay. Now I can do all my smart dimensions. This is 0.3125. This is 0.375. This dimension is 3.5. And then now I just need to dimension from here to here. And I believe that is that 3-inch dimension. And then I just need to this backside. So I'm going to say from my origin to the end here. Oopsie, why did that do that? Smart dimension from there to my origin. It's 5 inches. I'm going to leave it at that. That's pretty amazing that it was that size. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at 5 inches and I'm going to say, okay, fully defined. Now we're going to exit out of this sketch, exit out of my sketch, and I have that sketch selected, and I'm going to go back to my features tab, swept boss base, and I'm going to either select my sketch manually here or have it selected from previous, and I'm going to grab that curve. And now you're going to notice what happens here is it merged that material together. Now, I do have a gap down here. You see that? Okay. So what happened is I don't have it closed at the bottom there. No big deal. I'm going to go back to my first sketch and I'm going to make it a little bit longer. All right. So that they're going to overlap. I actually want them to overlap because the material merges. So I'm going to go back into my sweep 3, and I'm going to expand it, go to sketch 12. I didn't rename it, but sketch 12, we can call it something. And now I want this to move to the left. So I'm going to say, well, I know my other dimension was 5. I'm going to say 4.9. Okay. Move that in just a little bit. I'm going to say, okay, exit sketch. And now I'm going to look, and I just want to be sure that it doesn't extend too far down below. So it looks like it's good. I've got a solid piece here. And that's it. And now you can start building on the front side. So 2 sweeps, 1 on each one of those trajectory lines, and then just play with the overlap that you end up seeing here. Okay. Any questions for those who are following along? Gosh, that's amazing. Okay. I encourage you to try that.